November of 2023. I'm working in a factory job which I've just began to really start to dislike. One day I'm listening to a podcast whilst I'm working, I'm cutting the wood, and there's this e-commerce guy and he's talking about how easy it was to start and start making money on his e-commerce store. And I'm just standing there making $12.50 an hour thinking, fuck me, I must just be a dumbass. I'm standing here in a factory making $12.50 an hour and I have no external source of income. So it got me fired up, to say the least. So I go home and I start a Shopify store that day. I start building it, I find the product, I start building the website, make the domain name. But at the time I was seeing this girl, okay? I would see her literally every weekend, have her come over, we'd do our thing. I would literally spend half the weekend with her, okay? So we get about a month in, haven't even so much as made a TikTok promoting it, haven't made any sort of advertisement. I shut the store down. I just spent like a whole 2 days making sure this website was fucking pristine, absolutely crispy, and I shut it down because I said to myself, oh no, I'm busy with other things. I've got this clothing brand, I'll just focus on that instead. And that was me coping because I didn't actually believe in myself. I didn't believe I could do it. I was scared of losing money. And so I didn't do it scared. I spent the next 3 months repeating this cycle, going to work, having this girl over on the weekend, fucking around, not doing very much on the business at all. I was making music at the time, and I would tell myself every excuse under the sun. Oh, I'm focusing on music. Oh, I need to have a nice balance. I'm working 8 hours a day, so it's all good. I'll just focus on the music outside. I don't need to do drop shipping. And it was all cope. All of these limits that I had on myself were self-imposed. It wasn't like there was people telling me. They weren't saying, oh, you can't do it. You're a piece of shit. You'll never amount to anything. There were people, sure, who had said things not quite that harsh in the past. But at the time, all I was hearing was positivity. I was listening to these podcasts, people saying, you don't have to be special, you can do it. You absolutely can do whatever you want in this life. I remember my brother, he was trying to motivate me to, do something with the clothing brand. And, we were going to start a pressure washing business, which we did, but we just ended up not really doing much with. So it wasn't like there were people telling me that I couldn't do it. I was telling myself, you're not good enough, you can't do it, I don't believe in you. And where this stemmed from was trust. I did not trust myself because every time I said I was gonna do something, I wouldn't do it. I would say, all right, I'm gonna create 3 shorts for Hectic Threads on Sunday. It'd get to Sunday and I'd be like, oh, I don't know what sort of content to create. And guess what? I hadn't done any research prior. I didn't know what sort of content did well in my market. So I used that as the excuse. I wasted the whole day Saturday with this girl, wasted the whole day Sunday scrolling on TikTok using the excuse that I'm doing product market research. I had so many limiting beliefs. I had so many things that limited me in life. I would say, oh, I can't bulk because I've got a hiatus hernia and it causes acid reflux and there's just no way I could ever put on weight again until it's gone. But guess what? I've put on 14 kilos since that point because I stopped the excuses. I stopped saying, I can't do it because of this reason, or this person can do it because they don't have that, or they had this advantage. It's all a load of shit. You're coping. Right, so it gets to April of 2024, this year. And I had been doing everything right, okay? For the past month, so from March to April, I'd been meditating, journaling, hopping up super early. I rebooted the Shopify store. That's the most important part of this story. And I actually took action. I started making videos, I launched some ads, I made sales. This is when things started to turn around for me. I started taking my diet way more seriously, like eating literally only single ingredient foods. I wouldn't eat even so much as bread. And I really started to put a focus on this business. First month, I did $1,700. Second month, I think I did about $3,000. And I was training in my garage. Literally between every set, I would be editing a YouTube video that was about dropshipping. And over time, over these past couple of months, I started to accumulate this self-respect. I started to accumulate this self-belief and this confidence. And it seemed the more that I did, the more imperfect action that I took, the better I got. The more successful I became, the more I leveled up. Do you think I had any idea what I was doing when I started my Shopify store? Do you think I had any idea what I was doing when I got in front of a camera for the first time? It was cringy as fuck. Roll the clip. All right, in today's video, I'm gonna go over exactly what I do in order to make the best rap I possibly can and some things you can do to potentially make the best rap that you possibly can. I sucked at talking to a camera. I sucked at doing all the, e-commerce, especially like making videos and all that sort of thing. But I just kept on doing imperfect actions and it got me to where I am today. The person who takes imperfect action is always going to be the perfectionist that doesn't start until they've got the perfect product, which is impossible, okay? You can't have the perfect finished product because you have nothing to compare it to know whether or not it is the perfect product. If I make 100 videos and 1 out of those 100 get, let's say, 1 million views, I have something to compare it to. I can say this, and this is why it got 1 million views and the rest only got, let's say, 2,000. Whereas if you just make your first video with the intention to get 1 million views, it's never going to work. You have nothing to compare it to, nothing to base it off, to know whether or not it's a good video and whether or not it's going to get 1 million views. So it's probably fucking not. So for me, the pivotal point was just making those first few sales on the Shopify store. It wasn't by any means becoming insanely profitable. I quit my job before I became profitable. I quit my job making like $1,700 a month. And then, I scaled it to 5K and then beyond. And then I ended up shutting it down. But this was necessary for me to gain that self-belief, for me to gain the confidence to do what I'm doing now. And don't get me wrong, it was one of the hardest decisions that I ever made, to quit my full-time job and force myself to go down this rabbit hole of e-commerce, drop shipping, and then eventually it turned into YouTube. But when I did quit, I realized that I was the only one that was limiting myself. There are no limits. You are the limit. And so long as you keep telling yourself these negative things, this negative self-talk, you're saying to yourself, I can't do it, I'm not good enough, he's only done it because he's got X, I don't have the genetics for it, I don't have the gift of the gab, whatever you want to say. But if you start telling yourself the opposite, I'm great, I'm abundant, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to have, a happy, loving family with a wife and 4 kids, and I'm just going to have this super successful lifestyle, and I'm going to be big and jacked, and I'm great at what I do, and I never fail, I always win. You start telling yourself that, you're going to start to win. I can guarantee you. So long as you take the necessary actions. Affirmations and actions are huge. I didn't have to stay employed for the next 4 years like I was telling myself, oh man, I think I'm going to be here for the next 4 years because I'm not making any external income. That was my reality because I was telling myself that. So I was looking for reasons to back up that claim. All right, yeah, I'm working 8 hours a day, and then when I come home, I'm super busy and I'm going to the gym. But I started telling myself, I'm not going to let that be the case. I don't want that to be the case. I don't want to be like anyone else who I know. I want to be the exception amongst exceptions. Okay, I want to be great. And that took me making the bravest decision of my life, okay? So stop putting these fucking limits on yourself and understand that limits don't exist outside of your mind. You are what you think. So think positive fucking thoughts. Now, if you want my help personally with anything related to business, finance, YouTube, or self-improvement, click that top link in the description. That's going to take you to my online school community where I'm currently helping over 30 young guys and girls change their lives every single day, one day at a time. Stay grinding, G.